You're listening to Archives of the Unknown. We have Bunny with us today. She's going to share a few stories. We're going to get into some shadow men and a haunted hotel. Bunny, do you want to start it off? Which one do you want to start with?
I guess we could start with the Shadow Men. I mean, I started back when I was probably 14. I we lived in a old rental home behind some senior living, I guess is what you would call it,
Okay.
complex. Um, it was a very interesting home. It was a two-story. It had a hallway and the top part in the living room. You'd walk in, there's a living room, and like the kitchen's behind the living room. You'd walk down a little ways and turn right, and like there's the hall. My brother's room was to the left, and my parents' room was to the right at the very end, with the bathroom being in the middle. So we used to see a tall shadow figure, more in a man sense, like physique wise, like just broad, tall, like super tall, mind you. Like I'm 5'7", like I'm pretty sure this shadow figure was like 6'3", like it was tall. Um, we all kind of like the whole family knew of the shadow figure. I'll just call him Craig. Craig's the shadow figure. He used to wear a hat.
Greg.
I don't
Okay.
know if it was like a fedora, a fedora or what, but distinctly, like you could tell this thing was wearing a hat. So, I mean, it started when we moved in. We just kind of felt like off. It was creepy. I had a couple friends over and we were in the basement just doing stuff and we would hear stuff moving around. Like nothing was in the house yet. It was just like us checking out the house. So this was before we moved into the house, right? Um, later on in like the next year, whatever, like shit starts happening. We're uncertain of what's happening. It's just, like my mom had 5 kids. We weren't sure if it was the kids or like what until we started having like family nights where we would like do movies in the living room and all of us would be in there, including the dog. Um, there was one particular day where I remember doing the dishes and whatever, the like dish racks that are plastic with the flaps on the side.
Yes.
Had some cups sitting there, like glass cups. We had to push more towards the back so nothing would fall off the counter. I remember looking back and seeing a cup just kind of like drop onto the floor, straight off the dish rack. Super out of the like ordinary. We're like, I'm super freaked out because I watched it happen. And like at the time, you can't, like, I could not see the figure moving the cup. Okay. Let me make that very clear. I did not see him move it. All I saw was it move and like fall and hit the ground. So like we've seen the figure, but like not actually doing any of the stuff around the house, which was super odd. But we're all watching a movie. They hear the crash and they're like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "The cup just fell off the counter." Like I don't know what happened. I don't know like what's going on. And eventually we start hearing stuff like in the hallway and like kind of like skittering like back and forth almost. So my parents thought it was the kids like running back and forth, and my mom would be like, "Boys," and they're not answering; they're asleep, right? Like just out. And so we both kind of look back and like both see the shadow figure, the shadow man, Craig, just standing at the end of the hall, not doing anything.
What made you go with Craig?
I don't know. I think maybe it was the hat, to be honest with you.
I feel like a shadow man named Craig is not malicious.
Well, I didn't talk to him, and he didn't ever do anything malicious. He just seemed to be there. Like, I kind of feel like he may have been an old dude who passed away in the house at one point, right? Like, just kind of stuck in the home, or like he just wanted to like be like, "This is my home." But he was never malicious, so I don't know. And I'm not going to communicate with the dead. I'm okay on that. If he was dead or if he was just an entity, I have no clue.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was super weird. But yeah, we would see him at the end of the hall, specifically always at the end of the hall or the top of the stairs to the basement, like where mine and my sister's room was. Occasionally, I would see him because there was like another living room downstairs. And then you would turn right. Like, okay, so you go down the stairs, and then off to the left is my stepdad's man room. If you go right, you go through the living room area, and then there would be to the left down the hall is mine and my sister's room. And
When you
so, like, go ahead.
when you would see Craig, what did it actually look like? How could you, was it just an outline of a man that was darker than the darkness around it?
I feel like it, yeah, like he was just completely pitch black compared to like it being dark in the house. So like you could see the figure, but even when like there was one time the hall light was on in my parents' hallway and I could see him at the end of the hall, which was
Wow.
super weird. That was like probably the most I've ever been able to see him was like when the light was on. But that had only happened like once or twice where I saw him with the light on.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious how, because it sounds like Craig is almost like a semi-friendly ghost, but you're saying that
Right.
he would definitely manifest as a pure black shadow.
Yeah, and that's why I don't know like what he was, if he was a ghost or if he was just like an entity is
Usually I feel
beyond me.
like when I hear about Shadowmen, they have a almost like an evil around them, and that you can feel them in the room,
Yeah.
and that they're frightening. Did you ever get any of that from Craig?
I don't think so. I mean, I was a kid, so I was always a little creeped out, but never scared. Like never to the point where I was like, I'm not going out there because creepy Shadow Man Craig's out there.
All right, so it was just like a fact of life, and the whole family had seen this?
Yeah, every single one of us. I mean, from what I mean, my three little brothers were too small. My sister remembers, my parents remembers. So
Wow. Did he ever touch you or anything? Did you ever feel him, or was it just always off at a distance?
we could feel when he got close to us, like it would get cold. Other than that, there was never really any touching. Like I never felt like he touched me.
Okay.
And I don't think my family has either that I've heard of personally.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
that's a really cool story. Thanks for sharing that. And then so
Yeah.
this is
I
the one
mean,
that I'm really interested in, is this haunted hotel experience. Can you set the scene for us a little bit and kind of tell us where this is, tell us what the hotel looked like, the vibe of, the town you were in?
it was the Sugarloaf Motel in Virginia City, Nevada. So this started out with my grandma just straight up booking a room, not like really like doing any research on the area or the motel itself. So neither of us had an inkling of what we were getting into,
Hmm.
right? Like
You
it
said it
was
was called the
awful.
Sugarloaf?
It is. It's called the Sugarloaf Motel.
I could see my grandma booking the Sugarloaf Hotel. It sounds appealing.
And
So
it
what
was
did
great. It's a really pretty motel. I'm not gonna lie. Like it's nice. They've got a little convenience store in the motel itself. Like you come out of your room and you just go to the little convenience store in there.
Oh,
It's
that
nice.
that does sound nice. So what did it look like? Is this old timey? Is it modern?
Kind of old, kind of new. I'll be out in a second.
Go ahead.
Uh, yeah. So the motel. Sorry. Say what was your question again? That's my bad.
So tell us about the hotel. What did it look like?
Oh, okay.
Was it
So
modern?
it was old. So they have it. There was newly brought things into it, but like it's really hard for them to renovate anything because they have a historical society who keeps track of everything, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they
they want
can't
to
just like
keep it the
renovate
way it
whatever they
used to
want.
look.
Right. So they just recently got air conditioners for the place. So we had it when it had an air conditioner. Um, Overall, it's really pretty. I believe it had like a blue color to it, like the outside was blue. We had room one. So the very first room, uh, unbeknownst to me, there is a room above us, like another level, but we didn't know that it was a like mine shaft area where there was an entrance to a mine shaft,
Hold on.
or
There was a mine shaft entrance above your hotel room?
in my room specifically.
Really? Wow. Okay. So you could go into
Yeah.
the mine from your hotel room.
No, everything was blocked off. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. But it was also like an old jail or like a prison. I don't know. Like one of the
Okay.
two, maybe just a holding cell even for people. But uh it was so we're in room one. You walk in, and the first thing you see off to the left is the bed with a mirror above it. It's not very big, like at all. It's one bed. You go forward just a little bit, and then like off to the right, there's a mirror with a really creepy porcelain doll right in front of the mirror, like facing towards the bed, looking at the bed. You go
Okay.
just like a couple steps forward, and to the left is the bathroom. You know how like some bathrooms have like little windows at the top that you can like lift, not necessarily open, but just kind of lift open to kind of ventilate? That was
Yes.
completely shut off. So you can't open that at all, which sucked. Just putting that out there. Um, So yeah, creepy doll, not my favorite thing. I'm not a huge fan of porcelain dolls. I don't know who is. I'm not yucking on anybody's yum, but they're not my thing. It was pretty creepy. So the first night that we were there, I turned her around. She had like, I have a picture. I'm gonna have to show you.
So
I turned her around
you had the
the
porcelain
first
doll
night.
and you turned it around so it's looking into the mirror?
I did.
Mm. Okay.
I didn't think about it when I did it because we got in so late and we were just so tired. We came in, washed up, went out looking for food, and then grandma found karaoke, so we were out pretty late. We get back, it's like, 1 or 2 in the morning, and we just go to bed. Everything's fine, no issues. We're only there for 3 nights. I turned her back around in the morning because I felt like maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? Like, maybe I didn't think about the mirror, but like I was like, well, maybe she's faced this way for a reason. So I faced her back around and then just didn't think anything of it. And then we started talking to the owner of the motel and finally like kind of figured out like what was happening, like in the sense that like we rented a haunted motel, and the room that my grandma specifically got is like the most haunted room apparently.
Okay.
And the entrance to the mine shaft is behind the mirror that she sits in front of.
You turned her to look into the mirror into the mine shaft?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that mirror right there faces the one above the bed. So that context, I guess.
So we've got portals with multiple reflections. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got like 600 of those porcelain dolls in your room, in the mirror looking at you while you're sleeping?
It was really creepy. I'll send you a picture of the one above our bed too, because I believe I took a picture of the one above the bed. But far away from the one above the bed, it looked kind of warped like a funhouse mirror. And then you would get closer to it and it would be normal. So that was kind of interesting. But the second night that we're there, my grandma goes to sleep around like 10. I'm up to like 2 in the morning. I start hearing things, which, like, we're in a motel. I'm like, maybe it's the neighbors. I didn't know that the people above us were there. So I kind of just assumed it was the people beside us. Um, and it was like almost like clawing. And then, like, I can't even like pinpoint what the noise was, but there was another noise that was like really eerie. I heard it coming from kind of on the sidewall and then above us. So kind of from both ends. And the next morning, I was talking to the owner and I'm like, hey, yo, I'm like hearing these noises. I just thought it was like the people being loud. And he was like, probably not. People hear those noises all the time. So I was like, okay, cool. And he was like, yeah, did you read the journal that's in there? Like a guest book? You know how like some hotels have guest books you can sign?
Yeah,
It's
I've
just a
seen
journal
those.
for people to leave their stories. So I do some, reading. I read all of the stories. Most of them are like pretty mellow. There was like maybe a handful, like 5 out of 20, that were like kind of off-putting. Three of which were like people who were dreaming and getting killed in their dreams. So that was eerie. And then there was a couple others that were just kind of mild, but not as like creepy as that. Nothing moved in the room. There was nothing that like, you know what I mean? Like nothing was moving. It
Yeah,
was
like no
all kind of
poltergeist
just
activity.
right. Which he said that room two has some poltergeist activity, which is kind of weird that he would say that's the most haunted room is room one. But I kind of believed him after what happened on the last night. So we go to sleep, or grandma goes to sleep, and then it's like 12. So I go to sleep. I'm laying on my stomach with like one of my legs up and my arm under my pillow towards my grandma. And as soon as I fall asleep, it feels like I'm in like paralysis. Like I can see and feel everything around me, but I can't move or talk. I
Mhm.
like tried reaching for my grandma and like trying to like talk to her, but nothing was happening. And immediately after, I just felt this immense pressure like pushing down on my whole body, mainly my like chest, just dipping in. I could feel my whole body dipping in. And so I'm starting to freak out. I'm starting to kind of panic and like it gets hard to breathe. And it didn't like just start to get hard to breathe. It kind of just like all at once was hard to breathe. And so I'm freaking out. I'm like doing everything I can to like come out of this. Nothing's working. And from like, it felt like sheer willpower. I threw my arms under my chest and lifted my, like, just my top part of my chest up and screamed to get the fuck off me. And I woke up like immediately, but I was in the same position I fell asleep in, which was my leg up and my arm under, reaching towards my grandma, which I don't really know if it was sleep paralysis, if something was happening, if I was just dreaming or what. But like, because when you go to sleep and you're in sleep paralysis and you like are on your back, you can see the room and you can see what's happening to you. Usually people see shit happening to them. That wasn't the case for me, but I could feel everything. I could feel what was on top of me. And so when I wake up, like not even 5 minutes later, my grandma wakes up and she was like, I just had a dream where we were getting chased and we hopped in this hot tub and someone threw the hot tub cover on us and like we were trying to escape and I was trying to like cut our way out, but it wasn't working and we were like starting to like choke and like die essentially. Like someone was trying to kill us in her dream too. So that was super weird. But as soon as I woke up, I felt like my body was sore, like I could still feel the pressure releasing out of my body.
Okay. When you say you could feel bowing, do you literally mean there was so much pressure on your back that it was pushing you down and
Yes.
your spine was literally bowing?
Yes. So, and it felt that way when I woke up, like I could feel the pressure release, but it was still there. Like it
Okay.
was hard to move. Like you wake up sore, like from working out. That's kind of like not this, like what I could equate it to that people could understand, I feel like. Or like if you just have back problems and you wake up and you're having a really bad day, like you could barely move. That's what it felt like. Like I could barely roll over to figure out what was going on.
And then your grandmother had a dream about getting, it sounds like getting smashed as well.
Yeah, essentially murdered.
That's interesting that she felt like the hot tub cover was, like squishing her, and then you were also being pushed down and like squished as well.
I think it the hot tub cover mainly felt like we were losing oxygen and like that's where like we couldn't breathe.
When you woke up, were you short of breath?
I think so. If I remember correctly, yeah.
Wow,
Like, I mean, my heart was racing, everything. I woke up in full panic.
that sounds like an interesting ordeal, yeah. Do you think that this had anything to do with the doll in the mirror and then the reflection of that mirror going in the mirror above your bed?
It could, the doll wasn't turned around, but she could have been pissed. I mean, everything that I read in that book was like, oh, there's no malicious beings in here, yada, yada, yada. And except for the, simple few that I read that people were having dreams that they were being like killed.
Huh.
But there was nothing equating to what I felt like. Nobody wrote in there like the pressure or like the feeling of actually being smushed like that was so real to me. Like even when I woke up, I could still feel it, which was wild. I did read somewhere that I'm trying to remember if it was, they tried communicating with whatever was in there, and the doll had a name. I think the owners called her like Rose, but her actual name was like Emily or something. It was something simple, right? But also, that's a mine shaft. Why is there a woman down there? Usually, like back when those mine shafts were open to the public, like for mining and stuff, it was mainly men.
I think probably still to this day.
So I wonder why she was there. If she was an entity that was there, and if she was mad that I turned her around the first night, or
Yeah.
what. But I think the pressure may have equated to somebody in the mine shaft like dying, and that's how they died,
Oh, wow. I didn't even think about that. That is probably how you would feel,
like just being crushed, like something like collapsing on top of them.
being short of breath, getting crushed.
Yeah,
Wow, yeah, no, that's a pretty crazy story. So,
yeah.
would you recommend the Sugarloaf Hotel?
Well, if you want an experience, go for it.
Room one or two?
One or two.
Excellent. All right. Well, Bunny, thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your story. It was a pleasure talking to you.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.